So as far as the rest of the coaching staff is concerned, Ben Johnson's in. What's the latest on the DC and some of the other names that Ben could be bringing in?
So we talked to him on whatever day that was, Wednesday, about Dennis Allen after the podium session. And it sounds like Dennis Allen is still the favorite to get this job, Darren Rizzi for special teams as well. So he's bringing a lot of New Orleans influence into the interview fold. And then you heard Aubrey Pleasant's name. He's got experience coaching on both sides of the ball. He's in the Rams system. He's called plays before, albeit I think preseason games, but he does have some of that experience. And he's somebody that the Bears have put an interview request in with. I tend to think, because it's hard to pin Ben Johnson down to, like, what tree is he from? What influence will guide him as a first-time head coach? I think he's going to go with what he knows. And what he knows is that New Orleans system, pretty much, where Aaron Glenn came up under Dennis Allen, who came up with that Sean Payton group. Like, that would make the most sense. But I wouldn't be surprised, too, if we do see some other names, maybe people that are on Ryan Pohl's list, that at least they put some feelers out to try to get interviews with. I do not believe it will be as extensive as the last offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator search, because they frankly don't really have the time to do 9 interviews for the OC position, and it does feel like Hank Fraley is going to end up getting that job just from what we've heard, and it's not like the Lions can block that unless he really wants to call plays, and then we could potentially go to Seattle to do that, but it seems like even they're moving slow out there and trying to find their next OC.
So, all right, take me through. Thomas Brown, gone. Eric Washington, gone. Chris Morgan, gone. Chris Beatty, gone. Is Hoke locked in? I know John Hoke's got like 35, 40 years in the NFL, and people like him. Is he locked into that position, or could there be more of a bloodletting as the interviews continue to go on? And then, again, back to the Fraley thing, can the Lions say, you're just trying to skirt the rules here? He's the best offensive line coach in the NFL. How is he looked at by the rest of the league, or is that the perception?
So to your first question, I do not believe that Hoke will be back. You can kind of do some reading between the lines on a lot of these like parting of ways, guys who are under contract and then their contract up. Most times, you're not going to find that a brand new staff coming in is going to retain or have much retention from the previous staff. So I imagine most of this coaching staff will be gone. And it's just a matter of, once their contracts expire, letting them, like, from what I've been told, the Bears have been pretty amenable to, hey, if you have other opportunities out there, go explore it. And that's what they did with Thomas Brown. Remember, he interviewed for the head coaching position virtually, along with, like, the first wave of candidates that they had. He interviewed, I believe, right after that for the Patriots OC job that went to Josh McDaniels, and then he interviewed for the Seattle OC job too. It's not surprising that they decided just to clean house, because you're bringing in a head coach on the offensive side of the ball. He's going to have a philosophy of who he wants, which brings you Hank Fraley. That was his right-hand guy in Detroit. We know how much the offensive line coach is responsible for just beyond the 5 guys that he has blocking for the quarterback. So I think that that's a move that, if that one does come through, will really help Ben Johnson as he's trying to, like, do this for the first time. Because when he was talking about for an OC, I need somebody who's, like, putting the game plan together for me, because he's going to be calling plays for the, on Sundays, but he's also going to be doing a lot of the other, like, head coach sort of stuff for the first time. And you're not going to have as much time to watch film, to do the advanced scouting work on the next opponent. Like, you need somebody who can be your eyes and ears when you can't. And I think having somebody who's already done that, he's been with now for the last couple of years in Detroit, is going to be to his benefit.
And Richard Hightower, I know Darren Rizzi is not coming here. He was still a candidate in New Orleans. I don't think he's going to get that job. Is he headed to Denver?
It wouldn't surprise me. The whole thing with special teams coaches it's kind of like offensive line coaches to a degree, where there's so few that are, like, the most touted in the NFL. So sometimes there is that carryover. If you, again, reading between the lines, if you look at the Bears coaching website right now, he's still on there. Could that change? Absolutely.
All right. Courtney, as always, we appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Have a great weekend.
Courtney Cronin covers the Bears of the NFL like a blanket for ESPN and ESPN.com.
And she's locked in the Buffalo Bills to advance to the Super Bowl.
Hoke no longer being in the building.
That would be a bit of a surprise because yesterday I gave you the names. Washington and Beatty and Thomas Brown and Chris Morgan. All, they said, out. They're done. You didn't hear that on Hoke. You didn't hear that on Hightower. Yet she said it looks like they're going to may have a clean sweep.
You know, in coaching, there's paranoia that runs wild. Not saying that Ben Johnson is, but you don't want, and I'm not saying Hoke is this person, but someone who's been in the organization for a long time, you don't want someone going up the back stairs talking to George. Just saying. Or someone else that's higher up in the organization. Clean sweep, Cap. People that you trust in the building. Like John Hoke is respected, I'm saying. If you're a head coach, I think you want to have your own people in there.
But sometimes institutional knowledge can be a wonderful thing. I'm not saying keep the whole staff, but having a guy or two that knows where the bodies are buried, that can help you navigate certain things in the organization, I think could be a really good thing. And I hear nothing but great things about John Hoke as a coach. He was with Atlanta.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Tampa Bay. He was with the Bears 09-14. He came back to the Bears 2023, 2024. Like, he's got so much experience, but he's also 68 years old. He might go, all right, I'm done with the grind.
Yes. So it's just a nice, fresh coat of paint in House Hall. The new coaching staff and new ways of doing things. Hopefully they're winning ways for the Chicago Bears. You're listening to the Kap and J Hood Morning Show, and we're presented by ES.